Good morning, church. Good morning, everyone. God rejoices over his Son, Christ, and Christ and God rejoice over us. This is found in a really cool place in Proverbs chapter 8. And it's speaking of wisdom, capital W, but the wisdom in Proverbs 8 is actually a representation of Christ himself, God the Son, standing with God the Father in creation. You can study all that on your own. It's incredibly beautiful. The word wisdom in Hebrew is a feminine word, which is why it refers to wisdom as a her. But when we read Proverbs 8:29, as you get on through the chapter, it says, "When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I, wisdom, was beside him as a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the world, his earth, and having my delight in the sons of men." What a beautiful picture of creation, with God the Father and his Son Christ here in the text represented as wisdom at creation, literally delighting over each other and over the earth and humankind. Verse 30, it says, Christ was beside God as a master worker. This is the Hebrew word aman, and it's a word for craftsman or artisan. It means a really gifted worker. Christ is the master architect. In some of the literature in the older Hebrew writings, they consider him the master architect, standing beside the Father. And listen, all that Christ makes or designs, the Father delights in. And God the Father delights in his Son's design. Much like we as dads delight when our children present these works to us as little kids, these little artworks they do, or even when they do something special. My oldest son works beside me in our ministry at Northside, and at 614, and he actually creates these beautiful graphics for us at our church and beautiful web designs, and keeps all this beautiful stuff happening visually around us, and I just delight in those. And I see this passage and think, man, here's God the Father delighting in his Son at creation as they are creating together what is our planet and our world and our universe. And then verse 30 says, Christ was God's daily delight, and Christ was rejoicing before the Father. So they're delighting in each other. But then verse 31 says, and God was rejoicing in the creation. The last phrase says, and they were delighting in the sons of men. That's us. God and Jesus were delighting in one another, in one another, and they were delighting in us. God doesn't see us as some sort of enemy or estranged from him. When we follow his plan and listen to his wise instructions, Jesus, his Son's teachings, he delights over us. What a cool thought. And we'll tie that in the New Testament to Colossians 1, verse 16. If your mind hasn't already wandered there, as I mentioned Christ and God in creation, it says in Colossians 1, for by him, capital H, Jesus, all things were created, both in the heavens and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things have been created through him and for him. Christ the architect, standing beside God the Father, creating all of this and delighting in their creation, and then delighting in us. Know that God delights in you today, and he would love for you to be a devoted, faithful follower, reading the instruction book, the scriptures, and following it hard today. Let's avoid sin. Let's avoid the dangers of sin, and let's run towards the righteousness of God and pursue things that are good and lovely and good report. See you back soon. Thanks for watching.